So I've mentioned probably in a previous post that I'm technically without a bike and currently in the market for a new one. The bike that you see me riding right now has been borrowed from a friend of mine named John, who was gracious enough to lend me this bike until I get a new one. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. But it isn't any type of bike manufacturer that I'm looking for. It's a specific type of bike. What I'm in the market for is a touring bike. I'm looking to ride a lot of miles in Iowa in pursuit of photographic images, all the while being self-supported. My goal is to create images, cover miles by day, and then set up camp and sleep underneath the stars. That's my dream. If someone were to ask me if I didn't have to work, what would I be doing? And basically my answer is cycle the roads, create images, and sleep underneath the stars. In pursuit of the best touring bike that I believe that will fit my needs, I've decided to create a spreadsheet with the features that I feel that are important. This would include stability, length of chainstay, length of trail, weight both of the bike and how much it can handle, not to mention the cost and where I can purchase it. I decided to create a spreadsheet so I could compare each of the bikes by specific categories and then eliminate the bikes that fall short. I want to narrow it down just to 3 bikes and then test ride each one. If there's one lesson that I've taken away from photography, and that would be that you need to get the equipment in your hands in order to know that it fits your expectations. There's nothing more frustrating than spending a lot of money on an item that checks all the boxes but does not feel comfortable in your hands, or in this case, under your seat. I do have a cost in mind, and for the most part, I've kept all 7 bikes that I'm interested in under $2,000. I believe keeping it under $2,000, I have a better chance of putting aside a small portion of each paycheck into savings and reaching my goal before I'm too old to ride it. Besides, I'm looking to buy extras for the bike that would come in handy, such as a small tent, racks, lights, and not to mention a possible trailer. A chainstay length is one of those things that didn't dawn on me until I had a mountain bike with panniers, and my feet would hit them now and again. Chainstay length, of course, is the distance between the center of the bottom bracket, crankset, and the axle of the back wheel. The chainstay length also governs acceleration, climbing, and descending handling of the bike. A longer chainstay length is desirable for touring bikes because it adds stability of the cycle when it is loaded down, as well as giving clearance for your feet from the back bags. What a longer chainstay length gives in clearance and stability takes away from the quick acceleration a road or mountain bike has. But a touring bike isn't built for speed. A touring bike is built for long rides. Trail is another determining factor for the stability of a bike. From the research that I've been doing, the longer the trail, usually measured in millimeters, the more stable the bike is at faster speeds. Typically, a road bike trail tends to be 40 millimeters, whereas the touring bike tends to be 45 to 65 millimeters. For me, I would like to stay around the 45 to 65 millimeters, just to get in a little bit more stable of a bike, especially around the turns. A few other features that I haven't mentioned until now would be the cranks and the cassettes. Having a mountain bike, I love the ease of moving up the hills with the bigger gears, but miss the ability of hauling ass over flat roads. The touring bike, I found most of the cranks are sitting around the 48, 36, and 26, while the cassettes are 9 or 10 speeds, which span 11 to 36 on the cogs. Now, I had a road bike at one time, and the biggest crank gear that I had was 55, and the smallest cog gear what I had was 11. So I feel like I'm in the best of both worlds, right in between a great mountain bike to get up those hills, and a road bike so I can get some speed when I want it. The rest of the features, such as disc brakes, tires, aren't as important as the rest, but I felt it was nice to track them anyway. I would like wider tires sometimes. I may be traveling roads that may not be so biker friendly, and the disc brakes seem to be what a lot of the cycling manufacturers are going to. I've heard that they are more stable when it comes to braking with heavy loads, not to mention saving your rims from having grooves worn into them by dirty brake pads. After all the data that I've gathered, it comes down to 3 bikes that stand out to me that I would like to try out. The first, the Surly Long Haul Trucker. The second, Massey Germando. Boy, I hope I said that right. And at the top of my list, the most expensive bike, the most I will pay for a bike, is the Trek 520. The Surly Long Haul Trucker has the longest chainstay length of the group. Now, I don't have big feet, but after hitting the panniers a few times on my mountain bike, which I find so annoying, I would like to get the bags back as far away from my feet as I can. I also like the fact that it can hold a lot of weight. And maybe later that won't matter, but for now, it's nice to know that I can load that bike up if I need to. Both the crankset and the cassette fall into the average gear count as the rest, and overall, at least on paper and for reviews, it seems like a bike worth a spin on to see how it feels under my seat. The Massey Germando, as far as cost, won't break the bank while delivering a solid bike for my needs. The bike geometry is a little shorter in the chainstay by a half a centimeter, 45.5 instead of 46, but it makes up for it in the trail length, 5 compared to the 4.5. The cranks are my only concern with this bike. It sits at a 44, 32, 24, which delivers great climbing torque, but for speeds it falls a little short. Again, it may not matter when I'm loaded down and struggling up some long, steep Iowa hill. I do wish it would come in more color choices, but to be honest, the brass color isn't that bad. But overall, the look of the bike is cool, and I am looking forward to trying it out. The 520 is the top of what I want to spend. Trek is a solid company and puts out some amazing bikes, and the 520 is no exception. The geometry is comparable to the Surly Long Haul Trucker, with a shorter chainstay but a longer trail, so it should be just as stable. It has a 9-speed cassette instead of a 10, but the cog range is still the same 11 to 36. Both the Surly Long Haul Trucker and the 520 have the same crank set numbers, 48, 36, 26, so going down the road or going up a hill shouldn't be much different between the two of them. As far as the weight, there are a few pounds difference, but the 520, it does come in at a 31.4 pounds and is able to carry 275 pounds. So between the two of them, it will be a matter of which one feels better when I ride it. So once I've saved up my money, the goal is to go down to the shops and test ride them. You know, put the bikes through the paces, ask a lot of questions, kick the tires, and try to get the best one for the price. I want this bike to be the last one I buy. The type of bike that gets me around the state as well as around town to work. I want to ride the roads of Iowa, create images by the day, and sleep under the stars at night, because that's what I want to be doing if I didn't have to work. Okay, I lied. I'm going to do one more bike to try out. Now, it takes me a while to do these voiceovers and the videos, and in that time I was watching some of my favorite adventure bike people, and one of them just got done with a long tour on a Kana Sutra, so it piqued my interest, so I got on the website. So the Kama Sutra comes in around $1,500, which is in my budget. It comes in white, at least it does on this site. It has a crank set of 48, 36, 26, which is comparable to everybody else. It has a 10-speed with a 11 to 36 cog. So it's, again, very comparable in the drivetrain area. Now, as far as geometry, it's right there with everybody else. It's a little shorter on the chainstay at 44.5 centimeters, but it makes it up in the trail at 5 centimeters. So it looks like a solid bike. It looks like something that I may need to try out before I make the ultimate decision and buy my last bike. So right now, instead of 3, I got 4 bikes to try. Wish me luck.